You have an idiot in the White House, a fool, a dummy. Yeah, I said it. He is an idiot. He's a moron in the White House. And his second in charge is no better. All right, guys. So Joe Biden recently shared with us why he pulled out of Afghanistan the way he did, almost as if there was really no choice regarding the date of pulling out of Afghanistan. But when he did that, as we've seen, a lot of things went sideways and went sideways really fast. But I was looking at that and I was thinking to myself, I was like, this is kind of like an NFL coach blaming the outcome of a game on the people who made the schedule. I mean, think about that for a second. Suppose it was raining the day that the football game was played. So you're going to blame it on the people who made the schedule because they scheduled it on a day that it was going to be raining. That's essentially what we saw happen here. And the sad part about it is that you have a president of the United States of America who can't accept responsibility. He can say he accepts responsibility, but ultimately he casts blame. He's always pointing the finger. This is like the entire theme of the Democratic Party. That's the entire theme of the current administration, is to always point fingers. Everything is somebody else's fault. You can even look, you see it happen in advance. Whenever they're asked a question about something, what are you going to do here? What are you going to do there? If you notice, they always make their response dependent upon somebody else having to take action, whether or not somebody else in some other capacity fails or not. They can never give you a direct answer about what they're going to do, what their responsibility is, how they're going to do it, without including someone else as a point of failure outside of their administration. That way, when something goes wrong, they can just blame the other party. I'm going to show you a video clip of Joe Biden talking, and I'll explain to you exactly why I come to this conclusion. It's about a minute long. So let's take a look at that clip, and then I'm going to break this down for you. Okay, here we go.
In office, I inherited a deal that President Trump negotiated with the Taliban. Under his agreement, U.S. forces would be out of Afghanistan by May 1, 2021, just a little over 3 months after I took office. U.S. forces had already drawn down during the Trump administration from roughly 15,500 American forces to 2,500 troops in country. And the Taliban was at its strongest militarily since 2001. The choice I had to make as your president was either to follow through on that agreement or be prepared to go back to fighting the Taliban in the middle of the spring fighting season.
Okay, so blow by blow here, right? He said he inherited a deal. Immediately, the blame is being shifted to the past administration. But what else did he inherit when he became president? What else did stood when he became president? Name something that he didn't come in and change or dismantle or deconstruct or destroy. He had no problem changing everything else that Donald Trump had done. But somehow, some way, he was stuck in this deal. And then ultimately that led to a choice. He was only given one choice. Actually, there were two choices, right? He could either honor that time schedule and do things according to that schedule, or go back to war with the Taliban. Those are the only two choices. And even if that were true, and if you didn't meet that time schedule, you went back to war, aren't you in the position to determine how that war is orchestrated? What's done? You see, he makes he gives us the impression that he was completely powerless in that decision. He had to honor that. Here's some of the things that he said. These are the reasons that he had to move when he did and how he did. One, there would have been no ceasefire. Two, there would have been no agreements in place. And three, no status quo. Okay, so this is why I make the analogy of the football coach, all right? No agreements in place, no status quo, no ceasefire. Now, we have a football game that's scheduled to take place on a certain date. That's like saying the last coach of the team had a set of plays, right? And I've had months with this team practicing to make up whatever plays I wanted to make up, but the last coach left this specific playbook, and this is when the game is scheduled. But we all know that every good football coach calls plays based upon the posture of their opponent, right? You don't just go in. Now granted, you got a first few plays to run. You're going to run these plays in order just to find out how they move. And then once we find out exactly what's going on and how they're moving, what kind of plays they're calling, then we adjust from there, right? I get it. Okay. But even then, you get to set up the first sets of plays based upon what you know about the other team, about your team's capabilities, because you're not only testing them, you're testing yourself, right? So it's like going to the game and saying, I can only call this play. And I can't make an audible. I can't let my quarterback decide what he want to do. In other words, your generals. I can't do that. We got to go in and we got to run this play at this time on this date. You're not coaching the team. You're not even in charge. But what that does is it allows you to blame it on someone else, the previous coach. Blame it on whoever made the schedule, right? But what he did was essentially go onto the football field and say, okay, the opponent is stacked. The strong side is to my right? They've got all their wide receivers over there to the right. They've got everything lined up. It looks like they're going to run the ball to the right. But because it's so-and-so date, I'm held to running this specific play, so I'm going to put all my defense over here on the left-hand side. Then they're going to just run right around me. Switch it around. Let's make yourself the offense, right? You got three wide receivers stacked to the right, and then you look over to the left-hand side, and it's wide open. The defense is completely unbalanced. They don't seem to know what they're doing. Why wouldn't you just call an audible and shift someone somewhere else? I'm going to open this guy up over here, or I'm just going to run the ball around this corner right here. Even worse, it's almost like saying, okay, you know what? The last coach was going to run the ball. I don't know what play they were going to call, but they said they were going to run the ball. So I'm just stuck with this one play. I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to run the ball this way. Even though every signal from the other team says, you know what, I can hang one high. Got two wide open wide receivers running on the left side of the field. I can hang one high, touchdown. 90 yards on the play. But it doesn't make sense if you think about it. It's two different things. The coach, they run what's going on the field at that time based upon the situation that they're in. And what they do not do is they do not allow your opponent to dictate the terms of the engagement. Period. Why would you do that? Why would you, if you say, okay, I'm going to leave on this date, I'm pulling everybody up, fine, do that. But why would you leave all of your defense? Why would you pull all your defense out? That's like sending a running back around the side by himself, nobody blocking to the strong side of the defense. What do you think is going to happen? They will slaughter him. Why would you depend? And if the other coach said, guess what? We're not going to tackle anybody behind the line of scrimmage. Are you going to trust him? Isn't that the objective? To hurt you as bad as possible. Isn't that the objective? Would you make a deal with somebody on the line from the other team who says he's not going to do this or he's going to open up the hole? No, because you got 10 other players ready to rip your head off. Why would you depend on the other team for your play to work? Doesn't make any sense. Stupid. Stupid. I tell you what, I'm so glad that I'm not in the military anymore. I am so glad. That's one of the things that bothered me the most was incompetent leadership, because I knew that incompetent leadership would get me killed. And the truth of the matter is that most soldiers, Marines, sailors, airmen, whatever, military personnel, right? They're not fighting for Biden right now. They're fighting for each other. That's what they care about. The person right beside them, their teammates. And now you have an idiot at the top getting people killed. And I'm going to say one more thing and I'm going to leave it alone. If you listen to how Biden talks, he talks about the soldiers as if they're victims, as if they're weak, as if they're incapable, as if he's trying to protect the soldiers. These are warriors. This is what they do. All they need you to do is stay out of the way and let them do their job. That's what drives a stupid decision to pull the military out before you pull the civilians out. I don't know any soldier, and I doubt you'll find many soldiers who would agree with that for their own safety, because that's not what they're there for, and that's not how they think. They would say, sir, let's get these civilians out of here. All I need you to do is not handcuff me. I can hold my own. They shall not pass. They will not pass. And then once you get them to safety, I'll go home. Because they all know that to leave the other way is going to get innocent people killed. And furthermore, it's going to put you in a situation where I got to come back to the battlefield and do this again under less desirable circumstances. You have an idiot in the White House, a fool, a dummy. Yeah, I said it. He is an idiot. He's a moron in the White House. And his seconds in charge is no better. Matter of fact, you got a team of idiots in the White House. And leadership in the military that don't have the balls to tell them where to get off. Reading assignment. You ever get some time, read a book called The Prince. I believe it was Machiavelli that wrote it. Talks about generals and princes, and royalty, stuff like that. See, the prince has no business trying to be the general. Right? You rule. Let me run this on the battlefield. Anyway, guys, let me know your comments in the comment section below. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Take care. Peace.